So today we're gonna make a spiral notebook, and the theme of this spiral notebook is Atlanta Falcons. The first thing we'll need is paper. So you can use line paper or you can use craft paper or whatever paper you want. But I'm using some scrapbook paper that I purchased from various craft stores. So you can even print your own paper. Doesn't matter. You can use paper, cardstock, printed sheets, whatever. So this one is just a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper. It's a page. The next thing you'll need is a cutter. And this is Carl 2. We have a smaller Carl that I'm going to show you later. But this is a giant Carl to cut paper. And we pre-marked the size so it's easier to cut. So typically I don't make books with giant pieces of paper because first of all it's a waste of money and it's a waste of paper itself, because you can make 2 books out of this one sheet instead of making one giant one. So you can have 2 gifts instead of one, and it's a lot easier to decorate a page when it's smaller, and it will still fit a picture or whatever you want to put in it, and little mementos and keepsakes and ephemera. So you cut this down to size. So I'm going to have my assistant come and cut this sheet of paper. So my assistant is my husband. So this is the size we want. It's an A5, but it's half an inch shorter on this side. So I actually gotten used to this size paper, so I cut custom sheets this size. But you can also just use paper you buy that's an A5. I mean, you would save a lot of money by cutting your own, but you could technically buy it. And you can see clearly where you can cut another sheet out of this same sheet of paper. And I have a little scrap left too. And you can see my little pile of scraps. I'm going to use this to either make an A7, which is a really small book, or just use it to decorate a book or something. You can use it like a frame or whatever. So I'm gonna get my assistant to come and cut the cover size. So again, this is an actual page, but the cover of the book you want to be a little bit bigger. So he's gonna cut it as an A5. You don't have to show the A5. They believe you. Okay, so you can see, I'm going to show you here how it's a little bit bigger. I can probably flip this one over. Here, I'll flip it over so it's just plain. But you can see where the page size is a little bit smaller than the cover, and you'll need it to be that way so you have a nice looking book. You don't want it to be exactly on the page size. It'll just look kind of, and it's easier to grip and take the cover off. So that's the first part. So the next thing you'll need is some cover material. So I have this, which is some acrylic sheets, and it's like you get a zillion of these for like $30, and I kind of figured out why, because you definitely should not leave this in the sun. But I mean, that could go for any plastic, but don't leave these in the direct sunlight in 95-degree weather. It doesn't work. But they protect the cover art. This is the stuff they use at Office Depot and Staples. When you order a custom book binding, they use this in your portfolio, whatever you make. But you can buy this on Amazon yourself. So this is the shiny side, has a matte side. Alright, so that's one thing you can use. You don't have to have it if you don't have it. It just makes it more professional looking, I think. This is a type of chipboard. So I got this from Michael's, but it was like 70 cents or something. It was really cheap, but I like using this as sort of a replacement. If I don't use the black binding sheets, I'll use this instead on the front. This is the kind I want to show you for the spiral notebook. For the spiral notebook, if you have a cinch, you can make these special holes and whatever. I'm not going to use it. This is a leftover backing from a sketchbook that we used. So don't throw anything away. You finish your sketchbook, and you think, I don't know what else you use this for, but I just would not throw it away anyway. It's just always useful. So this is gonna be the back and the cover of our spiral notebook. So you don't even have to have a fancy chipboard. They give you these when you buy a sketchbook. So I'm just gonna repurpose this one and we'll make a book out of it. Now, alternatively, if you don't have sketchbooks lying around that you use, you can buy this one. I think this was $1. And this is a heavier chipboard. It's also from Michaels, but you can see like the difference in the thickness here. So this would be good for the front and back of a book. If you don't have this, you can use cardboard, and there's a special book board that you can buy. It's called book board. It's like more expensive though, so it's like $5 per piece. And like I was gonna buy some on Amazon, like I was gonna buy a bunch of it because I enjoy making these little books, but a lot of people complain that like the book board they got was like molded or wrinkled, or like all this stuff was wrong with it. So I was like, I'm just gonna buy local and see it. I'll go in and look and see if it's okay, because I don't want to order like $40 a book board and them have mold and wrinkles and stuff on it on Amazon. But if you have a place that sells book board locally that you can just look at and make sure it's okay, I would use book board too. It's really the fancy stuff that they actually make in real books you can buy. The hole punching part might be harder, but you could definitely buy it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to introduce Baby Carl. So this is the other Carl we have. So yeah, I like Carl. I'm not sponsored, but I'm open to it. So Carl is the best cutter, at least in my opinion. So the reason why we're using a Baby Carl and not the big Carl is because for some reason the Baby Carl has a higher, it's raised higher, so I can put my thicker sheets through it. So you can see where it fits. See, the bigger Carl doesn't do that for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's really meant for just paper. But this guy is rugged. I got to change his blade. So if you see my husband struggling to use this in a few seconds, it's because I have cut so much stuff with this guy. And you can see he has A6 and A7 markings on this one. But I'm going to step aside, and then I'm going to let my husband cut this into the right size. So we need the A5s. Okay, and then he flips it over so that he can cut the other side, because it's too thick for the blade to go through the first. So we're just basically cutting half and then cutting half. And you're going to make sure it's an A5 because it has to be a little bit bigger than the pages, which are a little bit shorter. And again, this is going to be for our spiral notebook because it's so thick. I need to use a cinch to go through that. I'm not going to struggle with that. Okay. So that's the cover, the cover. So we need a hole punch tool. So this is my favorite manual hole punch. And then we have this guy, which is a sound investment. So he's already paid for himself, but basically we got this on sale because there's a new one that's coming out. I'm only using this to punch holes because I don't like the actual spiral ones that you have to close and you cinch it. That's not my favorite thing, and it saves me so much time because I used to use, this is for like a 3-ring binder kind of thing, or a binder. I'm used to using a manual one like this, and it takes forever to do, and you can only fit so many pages. This thing can punch holes in cardboard, so that's why I got this. So you don't have to. I'm going to show you how to do it without it first. So I have a thing that I've already punched the right holes in, and I'm going to show you. So if I didn't have a cinch and I just had a hole punch and I just wanted to make it, like these things you get at a dollar store. So you would just need something like a notebook, or like a journal or whatever that already has holes in it, and you take a page out, or you take the cover off or whatever once you finish using it, and you can use it as a guide. So now I have my new page. It has the right holes in it. It's done, and I used a manual hole punch to do it. You would have to, in theory, do all your pages this way. It could take you a long time. You could probably do more than one page at a time. If you got a clamp or like a clasp, you could clamp it and then punch more than one at one time. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to show you how to use, I showed you how to do it manually, and now I'm going to show you how to use a cinch on the rest of these pages. I have this as the cover. It's really plain, so don't judge me right now. Like, I know I usually put like stuff on it, but I think I'm gonna get a falcon sticker and put her name on it later. But for now, we don't need to decorate anything. Here's the cardboard. Actually, I have to do a little bit of work, but here's the cardboard again. Here's all the pages. I have a bunch of falcon theme pages. The colors are red, black, and white. So let me just put this aside for a second and talk about the paper. This paper is, once again, I started out with a 12 by 12, but I only use these smaller pages because I think it's better in terms of cost, and also it's a lot easier to decorate a page that's reasonably sized than a giant piece of paper you may not use. There we go. Ta-da! Okay. You kind of line it up the best you can. Pretty good cut, Fred. That's very precise. So there we go. We got the cover. So I took a decorated sheet that I like, and I put this on this hard cover so that I can make a book cover. So you kind of have to think of, this is where the binding is, so arrange your page that way. And I go through and I punch the one way first. I don't do each one and move it. That's a waste of time and effort. So I'm going to show you. Just do one way first. Way. And this guy was at the back. It's really easy. And these make great gifts because you can personalize them, and it could be what the person actually likes instead of just random paper. Because I know they sell things like this in the store, planners and things like this. So you can use this for a planner. I make sketchbooks this way, but the main point is that you can customize it and make it something you like. Let's talk about how to put this together. So I showed you how to use a manual hole punch and a big hole punch. So I used a cinch, and again, I usually use my cinch. It's just a hole punch. I don't actually use the crimping wire because I don't like it. And if you wanted to replace the pages, you would have to just take it out and throw it away. I mean, you technically could do it, but it's not reusable, and these things are reusable. So this is the next set of supplies. You can use that crimping wire if you want, especially if you have a cinch. You could definitely do that, but I prefer this because it is reusable. You just basically wind this through the holes, and you decide which one to use based on how much paper it is, because these are divided by like the diameter. Like this is a small one, there's a medium one, there's a big one. I got like a giant box of these for like $20 on Amazon. Like when I say giant, I mean like I have a bunch of them, like hundreds of these things, and that would make it like what, 20 cents per. Like let's say the most expensive thing here would be the scrapbook paper, but I keep meaning to make a video, I just never finish it. But I always buy my scrapbook paper off season, so they act like it's never gonna be fall or spring again, and they just throw the stuff away. They're like $5 for a pack of like 20 to 40 sheets, and normally it would be $20 for the same amount, but they just give them away for $5. And they literally throw them onto the clearance shelves. Like they slide off and they're all bent and stuff. So I just go, and especially if it's something I really like, I pick up like a couple of them and then I cut them into half. So it's even cheaper or even more cost effective because I'm not using the whole sheet of the one I bought. So I have like these little airtight container things. I also buy those on sale. It's like $5 for one. I think they give them like buy one get one free, or buy one or half off or whatever. But I usually don't buy them for more than $5, and I can keep like all my paper in seasonal, you know, bundles. So I have like one for all my Halloween looking stuff, have one for the beach, I have one for like spring, so I can find my stuff. It depends on how you want to organize it, but the most expensive thing here is the paper and the time it took to create the thing. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to string it. So I have a little one, and I have a giant one, and I have a medium one, and this one's already been cut because I used it for another book, so we'll use this medium one. And ideally you can have a clamp. I see a lot of people with clamps or binder clips or whatever, I forgot what they're called, but I am very low tech with this. I use my favorite paintbrush because it doesn't leave marks from where you clamp it, and it's easy to use. So at first you want to try to line them up, the holes up. So I put this through to try to line them up, and I'm going to put this here. So I'm going to wait for a second. I'm going to show you my second tool, and this is something also, again, the paintbrush is pretty affordable. I'm sure everybody can afford the paintbrush too and find one. So there's low-tech options that you can use that's really cheap. This is like a dollar store hole puncher. You could do the same thing. It just takes longer than using a machine. Again, a paintbrush, these little reusable wires. Like even if you made one, let's say you don't like it, you just unwind it, take out the page you don't want, or just unwind the whole book and redo another book. These are reusable, so it's a lot more environmentally friendly because you're not just throwing away a cinch thing that you don't need anymore. And this guy, this was like $10, I think, but you can find even mini ones that are cheaper. I'm pretty sure they sell this stuff at a dollar store. It's a pair of pliers, and mine has a wire cutter in them, so I don't have to have a separate one. So you can buy them with the wire cutter in it. This is essentially a wire wrapped in plastic. So once we get enough, we just snip it, and then we're gonna twist it so it stays in there. And then if you want to unwind it, you just untwist it and just unwind it. It's really simple. So I've already put this in here and my assistant is going to start it. Also, another pro tip, when you get this, you want to flatten this out a little bit, or I'm not doing a really good job flattening, but you want to flatten this out because it's easier to start with the flat tip. There we go. So we can start stringing it. So usually you could do this by yourself, but I'm really starved for time, so I have my husband help me do these. Okay, so once he gets a few going, I'm gonna move this guy to the next set. And you could do this by yourself. I'm gonna show you. So you could technically do this by yourself. It's just not gonna go as fast. It's not impossible. I don't want people to be like, I have to have a Fred. I can't do this unless I have a Fred, but you can. It's just Fred helps me by twisting the wiring. So he's feeding the wire so it just goes faster. But hold on, Fred. If I wanted to do it by myself, I'm going to show them again. It's possible. I would just do this, and then I have to go back through and twist it out, put it in the thing again, and twist it around. See, I'm going to just feed more into it. Show you. See, make sure you feed more wire from the tail end of it. Okay, you can help me again. But you see, even though I didn't have help, it was like what, 2 seconds or something like that. So you can clearly see it's something anybody can do. I don't know if I recommend this for like kids under like 12, because it does have sharp edge, so you don't want to leave your kid unsupervised making books. But you can help them and they can have fun. And I think you can also probably put like a stopper, like put a little wax or something to stop them from hurting themselves. So now I'm gonna give it a little leeway and before I cut it. Okay, and then we're gonna see, this could be a smaller book, so I'm gonna show you how to unwind it too. So see, this is not difficult at all. I'm unwinding this because I think I put it on the wrong side. Yes, I did. So basically I had the sheet the wrong way. So now let me show you how to do it with assistance. So he's going to start it again. Remember, it is easier if you flatten it, but I've already cut it to shape, so I'm not doing this again. So this is in real time. You can hear me talking while I do it. Super fast and easy. See, put your little pencil, or sorry, paintbrush. You want something, it could be a pencil, it's just something that's big enough to fit in the holes, but not too wide to mess them up. So it just happened to fit perfectly. Okay,
just a little bit.
I'm gonna give you a pro tip also. Usually I do this before I punch holes and stuff, but if you get plastic and it's a little too sharp, you can just use one of these little page rounders. So that way, yeah, I know. I don't think I could do this one, but when you turn it, it won't poke you as much. But it's not required; it's optional. I put that in my last video, but it's like just a little corner rounder. Here's for my shorts. So then I'm gonna open it. So here's the Atlanta Falcons book. So this is my cover. Make sure I dust them. Yeah, I gotta put her name in there. I think I'll put her name and I'll put a Falcon symbol or a Falcon sticker. Pretty sure I have one because I make stuff like that all the time. But here we go. Here is some pages, and she can put their wins and stuff. No, I won't say it. I'll be good. And they're her favorite, I say favorite characters, her favorite players in there, and their little character sheets and clippings and memories. Because I don't know if she started going back to the football games, but she goes to the games and takes pictures with people at the stadium and stuff like that. So here we go. Here's some, I love the little stars in there. And then here's some red. Okay. There we go. That's her book. And we finished the spiral notebook. So now you know how to make your own spiral book. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.